Good morning, Floss Tube. I hope everything's going okay and the frog's staying away, and the first week of Mania has been an incredible, fun journey for you, as it has been for me. Not really, because I've been kind of busy, of course, but I'm ready here to start my next start. We're streaming live right now. It's about 10 a.m. in the morning, Eastern Standard Time. And the project that I'm going to be working on today is called Three Little Birds. And it's from the Stitchline Etsy shop. They have a pretty good deal on patterns. I'm working on another one of theirs. But I'm going to start this one. It's got a quote from a Bob Marley song. Don't worry about a thing, because every little thing is going to be alright. And it is. And I have to remind myself that pretty often. So I wanted to do this pattern. It's pretty quick and easy, so hopefully it won't take me long. I should finish it this month. And one of the things that I'm going to be doing is the words that I'm going to be working with. I'm working with the Sulky Petites, the 12 weight cotton. It's not floss, I guess it's considered thread, but I know everyone's really interested to find out how those things look. I did do a little test section up here on the corner to find out, because some people have said that the weight is more like 1.5 strands of thread and not like 2 strands of thread. But I tried it out, and especially since I'm going to be using it on the word part, I'm going to do the regular DMC for the birds. But the words, I'm going to be using the Sulky Petites this time, and when I tried it out last night, I was happy with the coverage and the way it looked with just 1 strand, and this is on 14 count. So, let's get started. I'm excited that you guys have stopped by, and we'll have some stitching fun. I'm starting in the middle of the pattern. Put some reggae music on in the background. Thought that would give us some nice little relaxed island feel for this project. Yeah, so far, I mean, my experience using the Sulky Petites, it doesn't really feel that different from floss, honestly. It doesn't feel thinner or thicker. It was kind of hard to thread the needle, just so you know. I don't know what size needle this is. Either it's a 26 or 28. Probably 28, because I like to use 28 most of the time. But it was kind of hard to thread it, and because it's thicker than a strand of floss, you know, and it was having a tendency to kind of try to separate as I was threading it. But once I got it threaded, it was really no big deal. I'm starting the bottom line of letters. Oops, I should probably move this needle minder. It's kind of getting in my way. And this is what I'm stitching on is the E out of B, as in gonna be alright. I tried to get my husband interested in this project because he has actually completed a cross stitch project before and he likes it enough. But I couldn't get him to really commit to a second one, so I'm gonna do it and he can hang it up in his office. He likes Bob Marley a lot. Yeah, I think with these X's, I mean, I think it's okay. The Sulky Petite, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm using right now. And I think that the coverage is okay on 14 count, but I might actually, it might be better to work on 16 or 18 count with these if you're just using the one strand to get the right amount of coverage. But like I said, since I'm doing lettering, I don't think it really matters on this project, so but it's easy enough to work with. And I like how it comes on a spool and you just have to unwind it. That's pretty convenient. Does anybody know why embroidery floss is 6 strands in the first place? Like, how did that come up? You know, how did that system come into place? Because that's just something that I kind of wonder. Especially, I'm like, why are we separating all these strands of floss? I got some silks from China that were all one strand. They were all wound and they were all one strand. They were not, you know, wound as floss. And that really got me wondering. I was like, why are we separating all this floss all the time? Why don't they just, how did that start? I guess it's so you can use different thicknesses if you want to, so you have more customization. But that would be interesting to find out. I mean, why 6? Why not 4 or any other number? Okay, we have an E. These letters are kind of cursive together, so well, to answer your question, because I know you got a question about the Sulky Petites, they tangle on the back just like floss. I have a knot in the floss already. It's not floss, it's thread. Let's see. See how easily it comes out. Alright. One thing that I notice when you're picking these knots, you know, because again, it's one strand of thread, and the thread, when it's put together more tight. I don't know what the right terms are. but it's put together more tightly than regular floss. So it's easy to, well, there it goes, but you kind of pierce the thread, you know what I mean? It gets tangled in on itself, and there's not two pieces of loose material to try to pick out. It's one tight thread. So beware. I feel kind of bad because the last week when I started Coffee Quaker Sampler, I started on text. And this week, here I am starting on text again. And I looked at, because I'm doing 5 starts this month, one every Monday, which I'm planning to broadcast at various times so everyone can try to catch it. And like 4 out of the 5 of my starts have words in them. So that was a little bit surprising, but I mean, they have phrases, you know, like last week was Coffee Quaker Sampler, and that has one phrase on it, and then this is half text. I mean, if you look at the picture, I mean, it's mostly all text. These things are, you know, these little birds are going to go really quick. So, then my other starts, next week I will be starting, is going to be my biggest start, which is going to be a Haid. And I have one Haid going already, and it's been kind of a journey. But this next one that I'm starting next week will be a mini, and I'm doing it on hand-dyed fabric so that I'm only stitching the foreground of the design. I'm not going to be stitching the background. So it's not exactly going to be full coverage. And that's going to be the really hard part, because the background of it is charted in, and it's like 3 or 4 different colors during the whole thing. The piece that I'm doing, let's see, hold on. The piece that I'm going to be doing next week is a portrait of John Lennon by Jim Warren. And as I said, it's the mini. And I'm so excited about it. I think it's going to take me forever. I have I don't think I'm going to be done with it by next Mania. But I'm really excited about it. It's on this beautiful purple fabric from Garibaldi's Needleworks. And I really wanted to start it this week, but this was already on my calendar, and since I'm working on my other Haid for these 2 weeks as one of my whips, I'm gonna wait till next week and then put the other one away, and then start and work on this upcoming Haid, the John Lennon one. We like John Lennon too. My husband really admires the Beatles, but especially John Lennon. And this painting, I guess it is, by Jim Warren, is just amazing. It has just his head and his face, and it fades into the background, and it has this big piano thing running across it that just looks great. It says Imagine on it. So we had a John Lennon song sung at our wedding. It was Grow Old Along With Me. So I've always had a soft spot for John Lennon since then. So that's what's going on next week. I haven't been very successful this Mania working on 3 whips a day. That was my Mania goal, to work on 3 whips a day, because it's just, oh, there's another knot. What is it? Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not a knot. Yeah, it is. Let's see. Because I just like working normally on one thing at a time, or throughout the day. You know, it's hard to find time. We have a baby. She's not almost, but she's going to be 4 months old this month. And she's been going through a little fussy period. Not wanting to be put down. It's knotted up again. And I was holding on to it in the back to make sure, to control it, you know. Like I said, these knots are a little bit more difficult to pick because it's just one tight strand of thread. So, let's see if I can, you know, I don't know if there's any, I'd like to see a YouTube video on how to pick knots. Because I don't know if there's any way of really doing it. I mean, sometimes I'll see a familiar looking knot because it will twist up in similar ways each time. Oh man, this is really tough. It is a really tight knot. And there's not really, whoa. Yeah, these, there it goes. Okay. It may just be me and how I'm using it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3, 4, 5. But we'll see if we get many more knots. Alright. Let me just zoom in a little bit. When I decided, the only ones that I've gotten so far, I guess let's just say again, talking about the sulky petites, is that I got the little neutral pack because that was still the cheapest one on Amazon when I got that, just to try it. It came with 5 or 6 different floss and it was like $5. It was like an add-on item. Let's see if that's right. But they're all cream and white neutrals. You know, there's a brown and a green, I think, in the package as well. And that's the only ones I have so far. And I thought this would be a good project to try it out on. So. There's a knot on the front we get to see. See how easy it is to pick out. Okay. Some of these X's is a little crooked. That's kind of weird because I'm pretty sure I went in the hole, and this is Aida, so it's not. Oh well. It doesn't pull quite as smoothly as floss or DMC, I guess I should say. Like even when you're adjusting the length of the tail, it just wasn't. It's kind of herky-jerky sometimes, but it may also be this fabric, because this is just plain old, plain Jane Aida from, I don't even know. It's either, I mean, it's straight off the shelf at Joann's, so it's either Charles Craft or MCG, which I don't think MCG. I don't think it's MCG. I'm pretty sure it's Charles Craft, but that's okay. As far as these dark fabrics like this, I've only worked on Aida. I haven't worked on a dark linen or a dark even weave. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not sure I want to. I mean, it would be difficult because at least the Aida already has the holes right where you're gonna put them, you know. And it is harder to see on the dark fabric. But it's kind of squeaky fabric. Let's see, I think I'm gonna. I don't know if you guys can tell, but this color is actually not white. It's actually, you know, cream. I don't know if it has. It says 712. What is this? This is what it comes on. A little 50-yard spool. Okay. I always get nervous when I'm encapsulating things, you know, going around a design and then coming back to the beginning, because I think that's when everybody gets most nervous about being one off. Or trying to figure out whether you're going to frog or to fudge. That is the question. But luckily I don't have to do either one of those this time. I don't know if I've said it enough. But this pattern is from Stitchline Etsy shop. They have pretty good deals. I got 2 patterns. The other one that I'm working on that you should see in my next video is a floral map. It's like a map of the world, except the land is in like a floral silhouette type. Looks pretty modern. And she has the designer has a lot of modern designs, some cute little star. I mean, I don't think I'll ever actually. I love Star Wars just as much as the next person, but I don't think I'll ever actually stitch a Star Wars pattern. But I like to look at them, and there's some pretty cool Star Wars patterns on that website too, like modern looking, not pixel looking. You know, if you aren't a fan of the pixel look, then Stitchline has some really nice Star Wars stuff, and a bunch of florals, you know, like the modern. There's a couple that I'd like to go back and get, because again, well, I mean, I've been married less than a year, but in our wedding, in our centerpieces, we had succulents. And I have managed to keep mine alive. At first I kept them in a bowl of water. You know, they were originally in these shallow glass bowls. And I kept them alive, and now I have succulents from our wedding in these little containers. But I've been thinking about getting one of her patterns, maybe that has some succulents in it again, because that's that we had that in our wedding, and it's pretty popular right now, you know. So I'd like to see some succulent cross stitch. 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And she has some pretty good deals in her shop. I got mine under a buy one get one free thing, but you can get like 5 patterns for $17 if you find some good ones that you really like. Okay, we have another. No, never mind. My tail is getting a little long here, and maybe the needle is too small for this. I mean, it may be a 28. Probably is. But when like I said, it was pretty difficult to thread. It was harder to thread the needle with one of these strands of the sulky petite than it is to thread it with two excuse me, 2 strands of regular floss. So that was a little unexpected, and when I try to move my needle along the thread, it doesn't really want to do it. Doesn't like it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they're Bowen needles, so it's not like some cheap needle that's just scratchy. Like, I used the DMC needles for a while because that's just what's available in you know, in Joann and Hobby Lobby. Excuse me, there we go. But I was finding it was shredding my floss. Those needles were just, they were, you know, I would turn around and all of a sudden my floss would be shredded. So that's when I finally bit the bullet and started buying better needles that, you know, that are not available in the stores around here. That's really the biggest objection. But I like the Bowens a lot, or however you say it, but they're really nice needles. So the point is if, let's see, there we go. Let's see, we need 2 more. And the coverage on 14 count, you know, especially now that I've seen some more, is pretty Xy on just one of these threads. But I think it'd be pretty nice on a higher count if you're trying to incorporate it into some sort of design rather than some text. But I don't know if I would invest in a whole set. If I did more free embroidery, I probably would. Or more specialty stuff, which I'd like to. But just for cross stitch, you know, coverage is always a big issue for cross stitch because you don't necessarily want it to look like X all the time. Which is kind of funny, I think, that, you know, sometimes what you're going for is more of a pixelated look, you know, with the little, you don't want to see the X's, you know what I mean? But I think they're worth trying. If you haven't, maybe you should just pick up a spool or two to see how you like it before you buy a set. Because I've heard that the price is going up, you know, now that they've attracted some attention and getting more popular. And I haven't seen many other people, I've heard people's opinions on them that have said, oh, I use this and it's more like this. Oh, I used it and such and such. But I haven't actually seen it. So, okay, I'm done with B. Every little thing's gonna be alright. Let's go over. Let's just keep going to the left, I guess. If I can get done with gonna, that would be pretty convenient. Okay, so 3 spaces. 2, 3. I feel like I'm going pretty fast this morning. 10 and 11 o'clock. That's really my power hours. I don't know if I'm a morning person or a night person. I can pretty much get up and do that at any time. But yeah, at 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning, I'm pretty darn alert and moving. So I appreciate everyone tuning in who's had a chance to see what's going on, and maybe I don't really know if there are any comments or anything. If you want to say hello, I'm not going to say anything back until after the broadcast because I'm kind of occupied doing this. But hello, hello. And if you get a chance to tune in later after it's recorded, hello, hello. It's kind of scary to think you're doing a live broadcast and oh, someone's like watching. But it's kind of fun on the other hand, I guess. Time to move this thread again, which I have to do it pretty carefully because it just doesn't want to slide along the needle. I don't want to say that the floss is rough, but it's not really smooth and silky smooth, you know. It's not as smooth as the DMC, I don't think. One, two, three, four. Okay. I wish I could play some Bob Marley right now, because the song is stuck in my head just from the title and what I'm working on, but I was afraid that, I don't know how copyright stuff happens with live streaming, and I didn't want that to get in trouble, so I just decided to pick the safe route and find some no copyrighted reggae music. It's okay. The last broadcast, there was a time, this is just a technical thing in case y'all are interested, but there was a time when the broadcast started dropping out, and it came back in eventually, but that was really hard to push through. I must have missed the eye or something. And I don't know why. It just got me thinking, well, I'm going off on a tangent here. It doesn't have anything to do with stitching, but in case you're interested in making videos or sharing your work or even doing a live broadcast, you know, I'd like to see more of them, especially on Facebook too. But so, I don't know what affects the signal, but it's using cellular data when it's uploading it right now, at least the way I'm doing it. So maybe it loses signal sometimes at my house. I don't know. I'm just saying that I hope that I don't lose a chunk of the broadcast like I did last time. That's okay. I'd like to be able to use a different setup, and so I could add other, you know, elements in the broadcast, like another shot, or, you know, I don't know. I don't even know how all that stuff works. I'm just going off on a tangent. Squeaky Ada. Alright, we have an A. Yeah, I'd have to try the thread on another fabric, but we'll see what is going on here. Something's shredding. It's the end of the tail. It's just kind of... That's weird. It'll be interesting once I get started on the little birds at the bottom of the thing. How, I mean, if there's going to be a noticeable difference right up next to each other between the regular old DMC two. Whew. I think we're live again. It said my upload speed was too slow. I restarted, so I'm not, you know, if there's some sort of technical problem that arises, I am basically up the creek. All I know is how to start and stop. So I hope it's amended and you didn't lose too much. I hope it didn't make a second broadcast. That would be kind of annoying, but we'll see what happens. But anyway, I'm glad we're back without too much problems. So see now in. I'm getting kind of close to the end of my thread here. One, two. I'm sorry guys, ever since the video cut out there for a little while, I was like, now I keep looking at it to make sure it's not, you know, as if there's something I can do, because as far as I know, it was basically my cell signal, because I don't know, the only way I know how to do it is broadcasting, using my cell phone, and it's connected to the Wi-Fi on the camera, so it's got to upload it through the cellular signal. So I'm dependent on when that comes and goes, but I usually have pretty good signal inside our house, so I'm getting some technical notes. I'm into this time, but definitely next time I'm at least going to prepare a tag so I can do a tag or something while I'm sitting here stitching, and because I have a little bit of issues, you know, thinking what to say, of course. I don't want to talk too much about my personal life and bore you guys, but I'd rather talk about stitching. I'm only going to work on this for a week. All my new starts I'm working on for a week, you know, after I start them, and then I'm putting them away. Or that was the plan anyway, but I'm used to working on something, you know, at least 2 or 3, if not a whole month, before I finally put it away or get sick of it, really, because that's really what determines when I switch. I don't work on a scheduled rotation, but I definitely do rotate, but it's just when I feel like it, and I try to get as much as I can done. So yeah, I keep having this thread does not slide through the needle very well at all. But so only working on a whip for, I mean a new start I should say, for a week is kind of a challenge in itself, because I feel like, oh, I didn't get enough done or enough good start on it. And that's kind of where I was at with Coffee Quaker Sampler this past week. I still haven't put it away because I was like, oh, I wish I could have a little more time and get a little bit more done. So I may cheat and bring it back out, but like I said, I'm really having issues trying to do 3 whips a day because I'm just not interested in it for the most part. You know, I'd like to just work on, you know, I have whatever project I'm working on in my stitchy spot, and then I usually have something that I'm working on the go, but that's about it. But I do feel kind of like a maniac trying to work on 3 things a day for no reason, you know, but it's been fun. It's always fun to try to set goals for yourself, whether or not you meet them, just to challenge where you are and see where your comfort zone is and try to get out of it and see if you can do something else, you know. So I think that's what Stitch Maynia is about, definitely trying to get out of your comfort zone. It's not just simply, oh, stitch like a maniac. That doesn't help anybody. Guess I'm going to try to make up a little bit of time, since we lost signal for a little bit there. I don't know how that's going to affect the overall video. But I'm going to stitch at least to the end of this thread, which is not going to be very long. But if you stopped in and you liked the broadcast, of course, please subscribe. I'm trying to do some interesting things for Stitch Maynia, to entertain you guys and to see a little bit about what I'm doing in my little corner of the world. And I've been trying to record every single whip that I've been working on this week, a little bit here, a little bit there, and I'm going to put it together all on one video. Or maybe more than one video, I don't know, during Stitch Maynia. And I think it'll be fun. Okay. I think when you're stitching on dark fabric like this, you really have to have, I mean, again, it would be really hard, I think, on linen or even weave, but on Aida, you really start to stitch by feel, you know, just kind of expecting where the holes are going to be from muscle memory. So that's good, but it's definitely more difficult to see, so and if you've got something blocking the light on the other side, you know, that's can be where it's hard to see the holes. I'm sure you've heard that it's good to put a piece of white colored fabric on your lap so you can see through the holes better, or to put a light source underneath your fabric. That is supposedly helpful too. But I am finding that I'm doing fine just stitching, you know, kind of out of feel. And it also helps, you know, when you're using just plain old white on top of black, you know, something very contrasting. But anyway, I'm getting close to the end on my thread, so let me see. 1, 2, 3. Okay, 1. Let's see if that's it. Yes. Alright. Again, I want to say thank you for watching this if you have stuck through the whole thing. And if you haven't, that's okay too, because this is just meant to tune in when you get a chance. Tune in when you want to have something in the background while you're stitching. And I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I really have. And I do plan to broadcast again next Monday. Hopefully a little later, depending on my schedule. You know, just so I can hit all the time frames. But I think that's going to be it for today. And again, I thank you guys for joining me. Subscribe when you get a chance. Check out my other videos. And oh, hold on, see, I can't even stop stitching to say goodbye, so let me just stick this through here. Alright, I'll see you guys next week. Have a great week starting all your other starts and whipping all your other whips in Mania, and I'll see you later. Bye.